All right.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another podcast.
Let's
episode
go.
2.
All right. Yep. This is episode 2. This time, no Andy involved. This is just Sean and I. But yeah, we're really going to be focusing today on the evolution of ODB, the musical group, mainly just a musical concept.
Yeah, and we have to start with In My Car, which is actually the most classic one out there. Made a whole music video. We spent a lot of effort on that one, definitely.
Yeah.
And even though that one didn't sound the greatest, it had the most effort put into it.
Well, the thing is, In My Car, I mean, we didn't have the experience, the technical ability, or even all the material, like all the hardware we really used the recording process. But honestly, it originally sounded better until Luke walked into the room and said, I think it would be funny if you made the drums really loud. So we made the drums really loud.
Okay, so you got to explain to the listeners who Luke is.
Luke is my brother. I have 2 brothers. Luke is the middle one. I'm the youngest.
So what was one thing that really stood out to you?
When it comes to In My Car, I really like how we split the song into 3 main sections. Like, we had the verse, the bridge, and the chorus, but the bridge was really long. So the bridge was honestly like a third of the track because we had 2 different bridges. It was its own thing. So like, you start off with like the verse, which is like a rough and loud type of thing, and then the bridge is kind of like spacey, but then the chorus gets kind of in between them. So you get really hard, really spacey, and then in the middle, and then it loops through that again. So when it comes to like the development of the song, it's really its own thing.
I agree with that. One thing that really stood out to me was the amount of effort that went into that song. And to be honest, it was a learning experience for me, especially since it was my first rodeo, if I might say so myself. To be honest, one thing that really got me was all the key changes. That was just the most beautiful part of the song, just the changing of the keys every 2 seconds.
I mean, yeah, for each one of those sections, we use a different key. So yeah, we spent a lot of time on that song, like hours, and then you factor in recording the music video and then editing it. And we had actually made the entire music video once, and then the software crashed, but we had forgotten to save it. So we had to make the whole thing a second time.
All right, so moving on to In My Crib. And by the way, we probably won't talk as much about these next 3 because they weren't really as special as In My Car. I mean, they were special to some extent, but In My Car was a really special one because it's a classic and the opening, of course.
Honestly,
But
sorry.
But In My Crib,
I really Oh crap! I keep on talking over you. Sorry.
We were using pentatonics in that.
Oh yeah, we were.
And that's what really gave it a unique sound. And we kind of experienced around with some what type of music would you call it again?
In My Crib. I couldn't tell you. Almost like EDM for the chorus.
That's what I was thinking of. Yeah, EDM. I just couldn't pop into my head for some reason.
Yeah, I mean, In My Crib and This Is It are honestly some of my favorites we've made. I mean, In My Crib and This Is It. I kind of like the vibe of both of them.
Yeah, and another thing that you might have seen on the cover is the Book of Mormon, which that's really special in itself, which hopefully in the future we'll do a podcast about that.
I mean,
we'll save that for now.
You can't forget Barack Obama.
Yeah, that's actually what I was going to mention next was Barack Obama. You want to tell the listeners why it's so special?
I mean, okay, so Obama's always meant a lot to me. If I had to meet any president of all time, it would definitely be Barack Obama. But when it comes to Obama, I have that portrait of him in my room, and there was a giveaway at a local Christian college, which never got accredited, and the owners of it got caught doing some fraud and stuff. So I was able to get that photo of Obama for free, and I've loved it and cherished it ever since.
All right, moving on to My Angel, which was the third song we made.
Mm-hmm.
So, one thing that was really special was because I thought that was going to be the second song. I always had kind of in my mind that we're going to do something with the cello and its beautiful sound, and that's kind of how My Angel is. It's a more beautiful song.
Mhm.
And it kind of describes Christianity away because Jesus is on there.
Yeah. One thing I noticed, I didn't really know how to master the songs back then, so it's really, really quiet, especially compared to the other tracks.
Yeah, if you guys haven't listened to this one, you're really going to want to turn it up a little bit or listen to it on something else, like through your car speaker or something.
Yeah, honestly, just turn the volume all the way up, and you might be able to hear it a little bit.
Yeah, it's really quiet. There's not too much other to say about that song except we used a lot of cello in it. It's more of a beautiful song.
Piano
But-
too.
Piano too. But moving on to This Is It.
I really like This Is It. That sound at the beginning of it was actually static, like feedback from the guitar chord. We would like put a finger on it, and then we ran it through some effects, and it kind of just made this really neat sounding like synthy sound.
Yeah, it's kind of surprising what you'll come up with by accident sometimes.
Especially when you don't know what you're doing.
Exactly. And This Is It is a perfect example. It was a great way to finish out Fire and Ice, which was the first album we made.
Mm-hmm. I like the layered vocals. How it had like me going like, "This is it, that's legit," and then we referenced Colin Parton's Minecraft's Lit, which really means a lot to both of us. But in the background, there was Sean really hitting it with like the "wah wah 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 wah," like it was pretty hard.
That's what gives the song hard, and that's really what did this, like, the whole album really well,
Mm-hmm.
is that song right there.
So
But moving on to
sound of the music. No, forever.
Forever. Yeah, we did Forever first. Forever, this one honestly is my favorite one that we've done so far. I've had some controversials though. I really like I Know You Can Walk on Water, which is in the future, My Angel as well. But Forever, this is where we started doing styles of music. This was 60s kind of jazz pop almost. I don't know how to describe it other than that.
Yeah. I mean, Forever is really like a cult classic. Like everybody seems to really like Forever. It gets a lot of press.
And some things that you may not know about this song is that we actually based it off of the song Earth Angel, which is played in Back to the Future 1, if you've ever watched that movie before.
Yeah, it really fit in with the whole time travel aesthetic, you know, to be referencing Back to the Future like that.
Yeah, and that's what the whole album is about, is basically traveling in time if you want to listen to it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's really something you can just play during a homecoming or something like that. And that was also where we got the idea to start using hyperpop at some of the end of our songs, kind of, because we had actually listened to some of that style before, and we started to really enjoy it just on our car rides to
Popeyes.
Popeyes.
And Brandon's house.
Yeah, Brandon, I hope you're enjoying this if you're listening.
I mean, yeah, we had a lot of people to shout out to, and it really gave us a way to give the fans some of the, some of the respect they deserve.
Yep. We can't stay on forever as long as I would like to, but
Yeah.
we got to keep moving on. So the next song we did was The Sound of the Music, which was our 90s song. That one was some fire.
Yeah, I mean, it has the two sections again. I recently found out that Sean, you were inspired by Levitating by Dua Lipa and the Baby. But I like...
That was what I thought about, and to be honest, even though it didn't sound like that,
Yep.
I really like the style of what we came up with.
So yeah, I mean, for the rap, one cool thing we did was pitch down the vocals and use a formant shift, And then I actually used a drum bus on there to get some of that boomy sound out of the vocals. And it really added to the rap. Overall, that's like a really solid track in my opinion.
And I agree with that. We need to get moving on to
In My Garden.
In My Garden and The New Whip, and these ones are kind of connected, not that they're they were just made on the same day is what I'm trying to say, basically.
Yeah.
So they are kind of made together almost.
Well, okay, the way it happened, I mean, we had In My Garden, which I'm a big fan of. That's, in my opinion, one of the most polished tracks. And it sounded pretty good. And yeah, I was a big fan of it. And Sean was like, all right, we should probably roll out the album. But we were like, we need 4 tracks to release this EP. So
yeah, and
we really rushed The New Whip. And it's probably, in my opinion, a worst track we've ever made.
Well, you can focus on it that way, but you can also focus on the good in the song. There may be some people who really enjoy that style of music.
What style even is it?
Hyper rock.
Oh.
And what I have to say about In My Garden, it was some really fire beat. It was inspired by some pop songs in the 80s. And that was the 80s song in there. And then The New Whip was our 70s song, which we were going to model it after 70s rock. But it came out to be its whole new genre in general.
Yeah.
And it really added to that part of it, which was the whole album was actually called Back in Time Part 1, if I haven't mentioned that already. And if you listen to it on YouTube, well, the full album's on YouTube, Back in Time Part 1 and Part 2. And then if you listen to it on Spotify, it has little skits too.
So, yeah, what's next?
The next one was... Well, The New Lands was the last one we did. We'll get to that one.
Okay.
Alone was the next one.
Yep.
So, Alone, it was kind of a more futuristic type of style. It's going to be the 2030s. And it came out to be really a banger in all, I'd say.
I agree.
Honest, I really enjoyed it. I probably listened to it a whole bunch of times afterwards.
I really like the chorus on it. Your vocals really stand out. And then the bass really drops on that.
Yeah, that one was really interesting. And then the next one was another one of my favorites, I Know You Can Walk on Water, which is 2010's Christian pop.
Yep.
Talk about a worship song there.
Yeah. It's really beautiful. In case you ever notice, the beat from it, a modified version, is also going to be used on Colin Parton's next album. I'll keep my lips shut after that, but just stay hyped. But I Know You Can Walk on Water. The chorus with Sean singing on that once again just really stands out in my eyes.
It was a really great song. And then the next one we made after that was In My Car Too. You know what? Daniel had some problems with the Buick, which was the original car, and that was really sad. And there's some emotion displayed in the beginning of there. And so we had to make a second one describing his Ford that he got.
It's so sad. I mean, I've come to love the Ford, but it isn't the same as the Buick.
Yeah, the Buick will always be missed.
It will.
And it's kind of more rock style song as well.
Yep. It's its own vibe. It really is.
It's a really good song if you guys haven't listened to that one. And then the final and last song we made in Back in Time Part 2 was The New Lands.
Yep. That was a little rushed. I had actually made the beat for Andy to rap on, but he pulled an Andy and didn't want to do it. So
yeah, well, maybe Andy will join in some of the songs coming out in the future.
We can't talk about any future projects yet, but
well,
there might be something in the works with a really big album listening event and a whole lot of stuff going on. So, you know, keep your ears peeled, but yeah.
Well, that was basically all we have to say about the album.
Hey, Sean.
I hope you guys...
Can you do me a favor and clap really quick? Okay, thank you. That is all. But yeah.
Hope you guys enjoyed it. And until next time,
Keep it pogus, I guess. I don't know. Alright, that's all.